the vision with which this country has grown is actually part to none, right? From a very sleepy village where it was known for pearl fishing, pearl diving, and this stuff. Today, it's one of the most renowned cities in the world, right? And that development doesn't come. A lot of people, without knowing, they say it's oil wealth, right? It doesn't come just because of oil wealth. You need to have a leadership with a vision, right? Distinctly remember, right? When I was in Emirates, and then Dubai airport was not very big. Our chairman, Sheikh Ahmed, was saying, listen, we want to build an airport which is going to take 12 million people. So at that time, it was what, 4, 5 million? And we're thinking, okay, 12 million is going to take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. In 3 years, we come back and say, hey, we need another airport for 20 million.
Wow.
So things, where people know what they want, how they want to take the country there, and they get there with empathy, right? So when I say empathy, that's another important factor, right? 2001, September 11, obviously, everybody knows what happened. And the airline industry took the biggest hit, right? So there we were sitting, and first week, all the bookings are getting cancelled. And we're saying, what are we going to do for the jobs? And we get a message from our chairman saying, we are family, no jobs will be touched, right? That's empathy. Right? You can have all the dazzle and razzle, and where people say, company is family, but when it comes to action, people don't do that. So then you have respect for people who do that, right? So, and then that Paris show in 2001, when the whole world was shying away, not knowing what's going to happen to air travel, Emirates went and placed an order for 15 billion aircraft.
Wow.
15 billion, right?
Wow, yeah.
The whole world looked at it and said, what's happening to these guys, right? So that's the sort of stories I've grown up with. Another interesting story I've seen in Emirates, right? 1996, Dubai predominantly used to be a winter-only set, obviously, right?
Yeah, of
Summers
course, yeah.
were hot. We were desperately looking for ways and means and say, what do we do in 5 months of the year? There's so much of time. We need to do something. Right? We launched what's called as a Dubai stopover program. Right?
Okay.
The stopover program is, listen, Emirates is be the hub, right? But how do we get these guys out? So there were a couple of 5-star hotels. So we went to them and said, listen, we want to offer a stay at $50 per night.
Okay.
Right? You travel on Emirates, you stop over, get to experience Dubai for $50 a night. And then the 5-star hotels were reluctant, but the Emirates said, don't worry, we will subsidize a few. Right?
Okay.
We put together the stopover program, and today it's one of the most popular programs, right? And now anyway, you don't need to subsidize people to come to Dubai. But those are experiences, right? When you put together things, when you've seen a country grow, it just makes you so much happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing to add on to what you've said is not being content and satisfied is also very, very important to grow. For example, they found petrol in what, like 1969, 1971? They would have settled down, okay, we are an economy that is run on oil. But no, they evolved again and working towards developing a community where there's a lot of inclusivity. That's another word that comes to mind along with empathy,
Absolutely.
right? So there's a lot of inclusivity, people from all over the world coming here. How did that happen, according to you, being a travel expert? That inclusivity, how did it lead the tourism industry to boom and grow?
See, the inclusivity comes, I think you can't manufacture that, right? It's the hospitality aspect of this region, right? It's well known for, it's in the DNA, right? So right from the beginning, forget about this wealth and everything. Even in 1970s, 80s, this region did not discriminate between nationalities, right? So that inclusivity was part of the DNA or culture of this place, right? Very simple thing, right? COVID time, you roll out vaccines, nobody differentiated any nationality.
Absolutely, that's
There are
so true.
countries, right,
Yeah.
who specifically said nationals first, expats can come later, right?
True.
This country, no. So these are the defining movements, right? I say, people can talk a lot of things, words are cheap. But when it comes to crunch situations, how do you demonstrate that? Right? They demonstrated that.
Absolutely.
So that, as I said, hospitality is part of the Arab culture, and UAE is absolutely well known for it. Tourism has grown, right? As that's why I said. we initially obviously took on the Singapore model, right? So a small city with a port, with an airline, right? Use the airline to bring in the transit passengers, use the port. Dubai grew based on that. But then if you see, if I can say, Singapore sort of stagnated at some point, right? If you see the 70s and 80s, Singapore was like one of the go-to destinations, right? Everything, like we used to see the Santos Island and like, but then after 80s, I think the priorities changed, right? Singapore probably wanted to evolve into financial hub and stuff like that. But Dubai is not like that, right? Every 3 years, if you come to Dubai, you will suddenly see a different set of attractions.
Absolutely.
So I thought, right, this has to stop. This probably will stop at some point, right? It's not. It just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It's an amazing factor, right? Where it's like somebody loves this place, keeps coming up with the new things.